Okay, ladies, so after we develop our process in prayer, and again, it's not going to be something that happens overnight because it is a process. It is going to take time. But the next thing I want you to focus on is actively practicing. One thing that we make the mistake of very often is praying and doing nothing about our prayer. We don't seat ourselves in a position of expectancy, or seat ourselves very literally in this moment in a position of change. Okay, so we can pray all day, but the way that I was taught, we are supposed to do the possible. Okay, and we let God do those things that are impossible. So in us choosing and making the decision to let go, we have to have some activity that is showing that we have faith in our ability to do so. Okay, or else why are we even participating in this process, right, if we're not going to actively take up our cross, take up our bed and walk? Okay, so before we can get to the other side, we have to take a journey. It's going to have to be a process, not just the prayer, but the entire concept of forgiving and also letting go. So in this particular step, you need to begin to practice the letting go. Okay, I'm not saying to get in the person's face and to be fake and insincere and anything less than authentic, but what I am saying is practice letting go in all things. Okay, if you find yourself in any given moment held down or taken aback by the things that life is presenting to you, then you have to actively practice making that decision over and over and over and over again. Okay, so this is where you have set that foundation. Now you have to build onto the foundation that you have created. These things, the prayer and the practice, they totally go hand in hand. Okay, so you must make sure that you have a sure footing or a sure foundation, or that you are constantly working on this foundation so that as you're building upon it, you won't falter. Okay, so that your foundation that you've created will not falter. So again, since we put our faith in something that's bigger than ourselves, we have to understand that the foundation is strong, but what good is a good foundation if we're not going to build something on that foundation? Okay, so there's where the practice comes in. You have to make a choice. You have to make a decision. Okay, and so you have to do what you can. All right, do what you can. Let go. Right. Practice this release. Okay, practice this process so that what is to come to you that is bigger and greater than you can actually arrive in a foundation where it can actually be planted upon, planted in. Okay, so some seeds can actually come into your life and that they can do you some good, because as much as God will give us the release that we are looking for, and as much as He will show up in our lives and help us to forgive, we also have to put into practice some of the things that we're talking about. So I told you earlier that I'm pretty heavy right now with the things that I'm dealing with in my life. But what better way to pay it forward than to share with you a journey that I've had tons of practice in. I probably have a forgiveness ministry because I really do get a lot of opportunities to forgive in situations where apparently people think I have no feelings. I can't actually hold them responsible for that too, because I have to be again responsible and accountable to myself, because I am my first ministry. Okay, so as you are beginning to practice, as you are beginning to build onto this foundation that you have created, you're definitely going to have to focus. Okay, don't focus on those things that are on the outside of you. Focus on what's on the inside of you. Focus on this process that you are going through. So I encourage you in practicing to have a journal. Okay, have a composition book. Okay, have something where you can track your journey. And as much as I've said, I don't want you to list out those things that are challenging you, in journaling we'll probably do that anyway, because I want you to actively tackle those things that are causing you harm, those things that are keeping you backed up, those things that are keeping you tripped up. We like to blame a lot of people for what happens in our process, yet again we have to hold ourselves responsible and accountable for the way that we allow these things to come to us. Okay, so I want you to practice. Okay, and I'm going to give you a tip. So tip is, I want you, as you are practicing, you know, what do I mean by practice? What do you mean by that, Coach D? Okay, I mean that I want you to dwell in the good, and I want you to look for the great. All right? So if you have your composition books or your journals available now, or if you don't, just pause. And after you come back, I want you to write that down. I want you to dwell in the good, and I want you to look for the great. All right? Dwell in the good, look for the great, and begin to practice so that your outcome can be beautiful and on point. And so that as we go into this next season, we can actively, okay, hold ourselves responsible for all of the love, all of the fun, all of the laughter that we see in our lives, okay? I'll be right back.